Mr. President, Americans across the nation have been truly shocked by the way our veterans have been mistreated. The fact that 18 veterans died in Phoenix alone while waiting for care is, as we all know, a national tragedy. This should be reason enough for Washington to take decisive action to reform a system that's allowed this tragedy to occur, and action to hold those responsible accountable. And yet, as we know, the scandal extends well beyond Phoenix. In the words of the government's own Inspector General report, the kind of problems we saw there are systemic and extend throughout the administration's facilities. A new internal audit released just yesterday found that the scandal has spread to 76% of VA facilities that were surveyed. It also found that about 100,000 veterans continue to wait for VA medical appointments, and that many veterans already had to wait 3 months or more. This is really a national disgrace. For example, in Kentucky, I recently received a message from a disabled veteran who lives in West Liberty. He says he's experienced delay after delay in the VA system, and he's understandably fed up. He says that every time he thinks he's getting somewhere, he finds that some VA employee has changed a date in his file or has posted a no-show for appointments he wasn't even aware had been made. I suppose I will become a casualty of the war with the VA, he wrote, before I ever receive a decision on my appeal or ever receive proper treatment. Mr. President, we know this is just not right. That's not the promise this country made to our veterans, and there's no good reason to make veterans wait another day longer. We need to prioritize partisan bills aimed at boosting Democratic turnout in November over bipartisan legislation aimed at fixing the problems at the VA. Now, we'll have a vote tomorrow on one of these partisan bills that's going nowhere when we know that the Sanders-McCain bill is now ready. It's been filed. That's what we ought to be moving to. Veterans have been made to wait long enough at these hospitals. Congress shouldn't keep them in the waiting room by pulling partisan games ahead of solutions. Fixing this problem is where the Senate's focus should be right now. As the acting VA Secretary recently said, the extent of the problems at the VA demand immediate actions, and he's certainly right about that. Now, I know the Majority Leader is going to have us turn tomorrow to another one of these political show votes written by people over the campaign committee, but we'll have plenty of time to consider bills designed to fail later. Instead, now is the time for the Senate to act like the Senate again, to be serious, to be more than just a campaign studio for one political party. Senators Burr, Coburn, and McCain have been working extremely hard on the issue along with the chair of the Veterans Committee. We all know there's no one in the chamber better suited to tackling this crisis than John McCain. He understands the experience and the needs of our veterans. So we should give Senator McCain and the rest of this group the space and the support they need to get effective bipartisan reform through the Senate. And given that their legislation contains provisions similar to a bill that already passed the House overwhelmingly, I think we'll get there as well. But we need to give the effort the attention it deserves first. That means putting the designed-to-fail bills off to the side for a minute. Because, look, this is what the American people actually sent us here to do, to legislate. So I'm calling on the Majority Leader and the President to hit the pause button on the never-ending campaign. Veterans have been denied care. Veterans have actually died. This is the issue that deserves the Senate's immediate attention. And if our colleagues are serious about getting to the bottom of the scandal, holding the perpetrators accountable and enacting reforms needed to fix it, then they'll actually focus on helping our veterans instead of worrying about saving their own seats this November. Mr. President, I yield the floor.